Welcome back to the channel, Guardians. Warlocks have very strong PvE builds, Starfires, Osteomancies, and Controverse to name a few, but this Threadling build is pure chaos incarnate. Every grenade, rift, tangle, and kinetic slot weapon will spawn Threadlings in large numbers, including your finishers, causing massive Unravel damage, absolutely obliterating adds whilst causing considerable damage to bosses. This build has converted me into a PvE Broodweaver main, and is extremely good in Gambit too. A kind reminder to like and sub if you find this video useful at any point. Blood, sweat and tears go into the making of the content. Let's jump into it. There are two core components of this build, so let's break this down, starting with the Threadling build. We are focusing on Threadlings here. You will want to equip Threadling grenades that spawn 3 Threadlings when thrown, and pair this with the Mind Spun invocation aspect. Consuming your grenade will perch 5 Threadlings around you. That will be your travel buddy until you engage targets, which will detach and attack one by one. Paired with the Weaver's Call aspect, casting your Rift will deploy all your Threadlings at once, as well as 3 additional Threadlings from your Rift. Using this combo quickly, you can deploy 8 Threadlings at the same time, and by slotting the Thread Revolution fragment, Threadlings will travel farther and do more damage when deployed. Thread of Finality will also create Threadlings on finisher kills for even more Threadling madness. So, this will allow your Warlock to spawn constant Threadlings as long as your abilities are up, but to improve the performance of these, you will want to grab the new Warlock exotic, obtainable in endgame lost sectors, the Swarmers. When generating tangles, or destroying them spreads Threadlings too. So, your grenades will spawn Threadlings, your Rift will spawn them, your tangles also, and also your finishers, which will deal more damage and travel further than your typical minion. Then there is the kinetic slot weapon, the newer Strand SMG, Syncronic Roulette, which you can obtain from the Terminal Overload activity, which can roll the Hatchling perk, which spawns a single Threadling on precision kills. This, also paired with a Thread of Rebirth fragment, allows the SMG to potentially spawn yet another Threadling, meaning you could spawn 2 Threadlings instead of 1 on precision kills. There are other weapons like the seasonal auto rifle that can roll it, but SMGs are quite powerful at present, especially on precision damage. You also need a strand weapon for tangle popping, which we'll get to in a moment. That's the Threadling side of the build, but then there is the Unravel side, which brings with it absolute chaos. Another benefit that the Swarmer's exotic boots provide is the Unravel effect. Threadlings will unravel combatants when damaging them, making them take additional damage whilst damaging those targets with weapons. Additionally, Thread of Propagation will grant your strand weapons unraveling rounds on powered melee kills. Using your Arcane Needle to defeat combatants will grant the SMG unraveling rounds, which effectively deals more damage to targets whilst being able to pierce barrier champion shields. I kid you not, this all comes together to create a literal sea of green parasites that will attack everything around you. It's an absolute insane ad clearer and can do significant damage to bosses and champions. In lower content, ads will die to the unravel and seek targets, unravel, kill, rinse and repeat. Literally in certain scenarios, you don't even need to shoot your weapons. We have reached the halfway point of the video. Still with me? Great. Before we look at the rest of this build, going over seasonal perks and mods, plus some extended gameplay of the build in action, please consider subscribing to the channel if you find the content entertaining, and drop that like button, a slap for that sexy YouTube algorithm. Up until now, this build is usable outside of Season 20. We are now moving into the Season 20 specifics. Let's crack on. For the anti-champion perks, Overload SMG and Medieval Champion will stun Overload and Unstoppable Champions respectively, meaning you can slot a glaive in your elemental slot. Personally, I use Judgment of Kelgraf rolled with Demolitionist and Wellspring for ability regeneration. These paired with Unraveling Rounds as previously mentioned will grant this build the ability to deal with all 3 champion types. Untangler in the 3rd column suspends targets when destroying tangles with a strand weapon, while Spreaded Blast in the 5th column extends the damage and radius of the explosion. Allied Unraveling in the 4th column will grant Unraveling Rounds on strand weapon kills. Getting 3 rapid kills with the SMG will grant this buff. Finally, Counter Weave will grant ability energy to your least charge ability when you or someone from your fire team stuns a champion in endgame content, which will be invaluable for your ability regen in Nightfalls. Proccing on Unravel damage on an afflicted target requires constant damage, and Anarchy recently also benefited from a blanket damage buff to grenade launchers. This is perfect for your Unravel damage, as Anarchy does continuous damage, whilst the Unravel target takes additional damage from your green parasitic friends. This is perfect for bosses and champions alike. For the general build, you will want to spec into Discipline and Recovery for your Threadling consuming deploy combo, as you'll want your grenade and rift back as soon as possible. For orb generation, Strand Siphon will spawn orbs on SMG multi-kills. Unfortunately, the Threadling deployments from your rift after consuming your grenade don't generate orbs, so there really isn't other ways of generating them on this build. Your armor charges will be used against grenade kickstart mods, granting grenade energy when your grenade is consumed. Insulation and Innovation will grant you class and grenade energy on orb pickup, respectively. Finally, multiple bomber mods to get your grenade back as soon as you use your rift. With grenade kickstart and bomber mods, you'll get half your grenade back. Check the timestamp in the description for uninterrupted gameplay of what this build is actually capable of, but overall this is probably one of the most powerful builds I've used this season. It performs extremely well in endgame content, is exceptional at ad clearing, and can do some significant damage to tanky combatants. Try this out if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments section what you think. That's it for this video. A dim link to the build will be in the description. Honestly, this setup is just unbelievable, and I regret not trying it out sooner. We have lots more content to come. Next up, I will be taking the pass at the new exotic seasonal bow, and playing around with a build that will enable it to be viable in endgame content. A kind reminder to drop a like for that sexy YouTube algorithm and subscribe for future content, so much more to come. This was Plasma Alchemist, your viewership is much appreciated. Until next time, extended gameplay coming up.
Concentration of energy coming from a common source. It's got to be the veil. Like some sort of magnetic field all around the unknown. Let's keep an eye out for more of those. That's good. We're going to need all the help we can get. It's escaping. Wait, why did it leave?
Weird. Something's off. Keep going, but keep an eye out.
Mapping an escape route.
Forever, Guardian!